What's good, Commanders fans? Like I said, my voice is not 100%, but I'm going to just keep this to 5 minutes. There's a lot of news coming out. Josh Harris just had a press conference, but they have come out with a coaching interview list. Jim Harbaugh's on it. Of course, he's coaching tonight, coached the Niners, head coach of Michigan. Blake Corum's a heck of a running back. They got a good team, and I think he would be a good candidate. I don't want to retread. I know Jim Harbaugh, he has a heck of a resume. He brings energy. You're not going to see that your arms folded on the sideline type of energy. But I would love to go the young route and just a new, fresh mind, innovative mind, just a young head coach. And the game of football has changed. It just has. That's what I want. Like a Ben Johnson, they're interviewing Ben Johnson. They already requested him from the Lions. They basically requested both Lions coordinators. They requested Lions defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn. Now, we know Ben Johnson's had a heck of a season this year with Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sam Laporta, one of the best rookie tight ends in the league. Probably the best rookie tight ends, probably between him and Dalton Kincaid for the Bills. And, Jahmyr Gibbs, he almost had a 1,000-yard season if he didn't have a 1,000-yard season. David Montgomery, they had like over 900 rushing yards each. And Jared Goff has had a resurgence of life in Detroit. I mean, he's just had a renaissance career resurgence here and making the playoffs. Who else? Josh Reynolds, Jamison Williams. Like, he knows how to get his playmakers the football. Like, they force feed Amon-Ra St. Brown. They do the opposite of what we do with Terry. We don't force feed Terry. And Ben Johnson makes sure to get his playmakers the football. That's what I like about what Ben Johnson has done. They're like top 10 in basically every category: running the football, rushing yards, pass yards, touchdowns, all kinds of stuff. So they put up points. Like yesterday against the Vikings, they were just easily scoring and moving the ball down the field. They're very innovative. I love what Ben Johnson does with his offense and his playmakers. So he's top of the list for me. He did ask for like $15 million. He turned down the Panthers last year. So let's see if he does that again. Aaron Glenn, defensive coordinator, he did play in the NFL. He had 2 interceptions in one game, like 2 picks in one game with the Texans or something like that. So he has a resume for sure playing. Now, you look at some of his defensive numbers from the last couple of years. The Lions gave up a lot of passing yards. It really concerns me. They gave up 227 yards to CD not too long ago, and they were terrible yesterday with Justin Jefferson. Those are 2 good receivers, but they gave up a lot of yards, and they gave up a lot of passing yards. They gave up a lot of passing yards to Nick Mullins yesterday. They do force turnovers, though. That's one thing that they do. But Aaron Glenn, defensive coordinator, I'm not gonna say I wouldn't be happy with it, but he's like not at the top of the list. And I hate to say Rooney Rule, check in the box and stuff like that. I hate that, but I would not go with Aaron Glenn. I just wouldn't. Their run defense is number 2 in the league right now. Their passing defense is ranked 27th. They give up a lot of passing yards. They really do. Like Justin Jefferson went crazy, CD went crazy. A lot of teams, they get a lot of yards against the Lions through the air for sure. Who else is on the list? Rams defensive coordinator Raheem Morris. Defensive coordinator, like I said, I'm just not too high. Now, he coached in DC for a couple years, for about 2 to 3 years. He's with the Commanders in 2012 to 2014 with Sean McVay. Of course, you got the connection there. Buccaneers in 2008. Aaron Donald's a great defender, so he's coached up a lot of good guys with that Rams defense. You look at last year, they were tied for 7th interception with 16 and 9th in defensive total rush EPA, 42.97 according to PFF. Rams finished the 22 season ranked 1st against the rush with an 87 grade, 2nd in tackling with an 88 grade, and 6th overall with a 77.5. I mean, when you got Aaron Donald, it does make things easier. That's another guy where he's kind of at the bottom of my list, Raheem Morris. So I wouldn't be mad at it, but I'm not like banging on the table for Raheem Morris. And then you look at their turnover differential, they were like third worst in the league. Rams, they're 20th in pass defense this season, and in rush defense, they're like 12th, which is fine. It's not bad, but it's not like, I want him to be the head coach type of numbers that he's putting up there. So, who's the other guys on the list? And Ravens assistant head coach Anthony, we already know their defensive line has they lead the league in sacks this year. So they're doing a good thing. Jadeveon Clowney's had a resurgence, a renaissance year this year too. And they force turnovers. That Rams defense that Ravens defense has had a heck of a year this year. Excuse me. All right, like I said, I was going to keep this at 5 minutes. And then Adam Peters, man, like, stuff is heating up, man. It's heating up. GMs, Adam Peters is on the list. Ian Cunningham, Bears assistant. Chiefs assistant GM Mike Borgonzi is on the list too to be interviewed. Those are the GM candidates as of right now that we know of that have interviews scheduled. Adam Peters has a lot of connections with, he has some connections here. Mike Garofalo says Bob Myers, Adam Peters, Bob Myers, the former GM for the Warriors. Bob Myers, Adam Peters go way back. Same high school and both UCLA alums. Bob Myers played basketball at UCLA. They've had a relationship for quite some time. Peters, definitely a strong candidate for Commander's job. So Adam Peters, the 49ers assistant GM, he could stay with the Niners, or he could move on and come with the Commander and come over here to D.C. and be the GM. I mean, Christian McCaffrey on that roster, George Kittle, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, Brock Purdy's turned out to be a really good quarterback. Trent Williams, trading for him. Drafted Nick Bosa. They just have a really good roster. They have a darn good roster. So, I mean, there's so many names you can name on that Niners defensive line and their offensive line. Trent Williams, even Elijah Mitchell, he's a good backup running back. So they made some really good picks and made some good hits. George Kittle, like I already said, George Kittle, they made some really good moves to bring in talent. You know, they made some really, really good moves for sure over the last couple of years. And it's not just the first round. It's trades, late round picks, fourth round picks, fifth round picks, making the best out of the resources that they have, trades and all kinds of stuff like that. So Adam Peters is certainly respected, been a college scout for many, many years. Significant that he's one of the most sought after GM names and turned down interviews with the Titans and Cardinals last year. So he turned down interviews with teams before, and now he's going to take an interview because of Bob Myers. And that's a big reason why Josh Harris bought Bob Myers in, because he has connections at very high places. A lot of agents, a lot of former players, and a lot of people around. Even though he's an NBA guy, he knows a lot of people. There's a lot of, moving pieces and things that intertwine between the NBA and the NFL for sure. So Bob Myers is definitely a sneaky hire, man. It's not sneaky, of course, everybody knows about it, but it's like a sneaky good hire. Now, I saw somebody bashing Bob Myers because this is the tweet that I saw, and I know that he didn't draft Steph. Like, if people are like, he drafted Steph, he didn't draft Steph. He didn't draft Clay or Draymond, but he did bring in KD. He brought in Sean Livingston. He brought in Andre Iguodala. They don't win a championship without Iggy and Livingston and guys like that. Harrison Barnes was good at one time. David West, Kevin Durant, of course. He brought in Kevin Durant. So he's done a lot of things. He didn't draft the big three of Steph, Clay, and Draymond, but he did a lot of things to bring in other people that certainly helped Steph get a bunch of rings, three or four championship rings. So, all right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up there. Health Commanders, you guys let me know what you guys think. Peace.